All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to the Monday Morning Mindset Podcast. Paul McLean here. And as always, it is an honor and privilege to be on to serve you each and every week. My goal every week as I sit, I plan, I prepare, I reflect is how can I best serve you as you go out there and hit your goals and want to make this week better than last week. The goal in this business, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And can you get a little bit better every single day? And today, guys, I don't think you're going to get a little better. I think you're going to get a lot better because of the two people that I have on here with me this morning. That's really, two people that have built a massive organization, a massive business, probably the standard setters right now for the company as far as growth and how to serve people, build, and really two people that have done a phenomenal job and that also have a heart to serve you. And so today, I want to welcome on my two good buddies, Chris and Melad. Good to have you guys on, my man.
Thanks for having us.
Pre- Appreciate that, Paul. Yeah, super blessed and grateful to be here. So,
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, this is a big deal. We're wrapping up the end of the year. Most people in this time of the year, Chris, they're starting to look back and reflect upon the year. A lot of people are like, man, I wish I would have, done this. I wish I would have done that, man. This next year is going to be different. And some people, they might have said, man, I crushed it last year. Like last year, I exceeded expectation. I had some goals and I really kind of hit all of them. But I feel like you've also got the person that's like, man, I had some goals in January, and dude, those things were out the door in February, right? And that person, maybe they've had that experience multiple times, and they really want 2026 to be their year. They really want to, capitalize on the opportunity they've got. Maybe they're looking at the year saying, man, I know that there was a great opportunity. I see how these other people grew and built a massive business. And I want that. For you, Chris, what is, starting at the end of the year, what are some things people can do to really start to plan ahead, to set up some goals, to set themselves up, and I would even say stack the deck in their favor that they're actually going to have the year they hope for in 2026?
yeah, Paul. I mean, that's perfect time of year, right? We're looking back at the previous year, reflecting, just kind of looking at what we've accomplished, where growth was, and I think that part of it is really important. The reflection and to just look back at, hey, where did things go really well? Uh, and just basically just analyze yourself, right? Do a little audit. Did I keep up the commitments to hit my goals this year? Did I hit my goals? Right? Where did, like you said, where did I fall short? And just really analyze that. And I think one of the keys there is you got to be as transparent as possible with yourself, right? That's where the real growth happens is when you look in the mirror and you shine the light on everything. And when you're reflecting, it's the same idea. Are you kind of brushing the edges and saying, well, hey, I did pretty good. It's simple as this. You had goals. This is what I want to accomplish. This is what I need to do to achieve those goals. I'm going to stack the commitments up, and these are the activities that align. And then this is the timeline I want to hit that goal in. And you either do it or you come up short and you don't. So being really transparent there and honest when you're reflecting, I think, is the biggest piece for the foundation of seeing how much you're going to grow in the following year. And then from there, I'm a big believer in disconnecting yourself from the outcomes. And the funny part is there are a lot of goals are outcome based, right? So it's like we're almost attaching ourselves to this outcome in the future. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost is everybody wants to have the $1 million business, right? Famous Ronnie Coleman quote, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder. Nobody wants to lift the heavy weights. It's the activity that's going to get you there. So my big thing is start the activity now. If I want to do 500K a personal writer, I'm going to start doing the inputs today up until the new year and start turning into that person, start becoming that person that has those things that I'm trying to get after. And then right there, just momentum sky high. And you take that right into the new year. And at the end of the day, it's a new year, but I mean, the activity is going to be the same. It's just a timeline to really gauge it from there. So
I love that. And Chris, Milad, I want you to add to that as far as why you believe, are some of the main reasons why people just miss their goal. They're good at setting them, but they're bad at sticking to them because I believe that more people are alike than they are not alike. I think if we ask the whole sales force today, guys, what are some of the goals? I think most would have similar goals. Like, I want to be president's club. I want to write 400,000 in the year. I think most people would say, man, I want to have a growing organization and people that are out there transforming their lives and seeing breakthroughs and having some great passive income. I'd love to get to a place in 2026 where I experience my passive income exceeding my expenses. So I really have this, financial freedom and peace of mind that it's not based off of just my production, but my business has grown to a place where I could step out if I need to. Like, I think most people would say that. But the problem is a lot of people don't do it, right? There's very few that do it. There's a lot though that say it. And I love what Chris is saying because, it does start now. Because you want to start casting votes for yourself that says like this is going to be different, and also to set yourself apart from what most people do so you believe that you deserve to have that goal hit. I think most people are just like, I don't really think I'm qualified. I don't think I can do it. I want it, but I don't know. I don't think for me. I think maybe other people, but not me. And then they do things that kind of support that, and therefore they don't just think they deserve it. But if you start in, today, December 29th, and you go out there and do the thing that you haven't yet done, but you know you need to do, that's going to put you on the pathway in the direction to hit your goal, come January 1st and 2nd, you kind of feel like you deserve to have some better results than other people because you did what other people didn't do. The majority is just kind of coasting the last couple days, but you're going to be different because it's going to take an uncommon you, a different you to step in and hit these different goals. The same you can't show up and accomplish what you're hoping to accomplish at a much higher level. And so I love that because you're saying, I'm going to intentionally do the thing I need to do that I maybe haven't done that's going to put me on the path to hit these goals in 2026. But I'm going to start today. And so I've already casted some votes for this next level me as the new year comes. And I feel like I just deserve to really kind of go out there and hit the goal that I hope to hit. So I love that, Chris. I think that's such a powerful thing that everybody that's taking notes today, you got to ask yourself, what's the main thing I can do today that's going to put me on the path to getting there? Melad, why do you think as people reflect, obviously reflection step one, I love what Maxwell says that, experience alone is not beneficial. It's reflected upon experience that brings insight, and insight is what produces a different outcome as you have now some understanding of what took place, why it took place. But why do you think most people kind of mess it up and get to the end of the year and they fall way short of their goals? What's the top one or two things you think causes that?
I think you look at the idea of, when you go to the gym January 1st and you see, a packed full gym and you see commitments at an all-time high. And then 2, 3 months later, you see, the gym about a half or, 2/3 of the people gone is the just the consistency starts fading away, right? You start the second you miss one day, you start missing 2, 3 days. Um, you kind of ease off the pedal a little bit and you forget your why and what really brought you there and your commitment. So um, you really just you want to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. And I'd say the biggest thing is they falling off the consistency aspect of it, and from there that it's a domino effect, and you lose track of what you were trying to accomplish, and it dominoes down the road. So I think just the whole inconsistency of not making or one or two different steps, and that kind of just trumps you from your long-term goals.
So you think the big thing, and I agree with you, and this is such a powerful point right here, guys. You got to lean in and understand that you don't have a clear picture of why it makes such a difference. Like you're not payoff focused. You're focused on just the pain, and because you don't see progress quite yet, because it doesn't happen overnight, you get defeated or discouraged, and so you just go back to the old routines and rhythms that was just comfortable. Whether that's writing 10K or recruiting just one person a month, opposed to saying, no, I'm gonna write 40K. This is what needs to take place. I'm going to recruit 10 people a month. Like you fall back because the progress isn't showing up, so you're just focused on the pain and you lost clear vision of the payoff and why it's going to make such a big difference. And so really kind of coming up with these bag of reasons, like why does it matter for you to hit 400K a year? Why does it matter for you to have an organization doing a million a month. Like why? Like why is that important to you? And unpacking that. Is that kind of what you're saying a lot, is like really understanding the creating these bag of reasons of like not just I want to hit 400K because okay, great, but why does that matter? Because what it is doesn't tie enough emotion to move you, because a lot of times emotion leads to motion, but what it's going to do for you and what lifestyle shift and how you can impact your family and set up things for your kids and your kids' kids and create generational legacy and see people's lives transformed and be able to donate to a charity or to be able to help support your mom and your dad or what have you, like really understanding why it matters, maybe putting your kids in Christian private school if that's what you want to do, and or living on this side of town and getting this school district or but understanding why. Is that what you're saying a lot? Like having a bag of reasons that anchors you so as the things push you and pull you and you deal with the rejection and you deal with the hurdles and the setbacks and the struggles of growing to a new level, it doesn't blow you off course. Is that kind of what you're saying, is it make sure you have a bag of reasons?
Absolutely. 100% is really just, I guess, losing focus on why you originally made those commitments at the beginning. And again, yeah, the second you start, missing a couple and kind of just losing track of your momentum, you kind of just lose focus entirely. And then, one day turns to 2 days, and then it's that it turns out that over time you forget your overall goal. So it's, at some point you just have to really just zoom out and look at the bigger picture and understand that this is a process, and it's not gonna happen overnight, and it will take time. And the more consistent you are, um, the more it really will just add up and work out in the long run.
I love that. Chris, what do you think as far as in addition to the why, like having that clear vision and picture of why you're doing this in the first place? What do you think is another reason why people miss their goal? And I think this is important because if you understand why you're going to miss your goal, you could be more aware of it. I mean, awareness is the first key to everything. Once you're aware, you can put parameters, boundaries, remove distractions, take out the thing that's going to mess you up, and you can make a better choice to ensure that it doesn't throw you off course. What do you think another reason is people miss their goal, Chris, once they've got it set?
First, I really love what you guys were saying there. I think that's a big piece of it. I do think a lot of people make goals. Well, think about this, guys, right? Whenever you've made goals, like it feels good, right? It feels good to think about like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. Kind of like dreaming it up. That always has that emotion tied to it where it's like it's motivating, right? It's this good energy. It makes you want to do it in that moment. And I think a lot of people center their goals in that emotion. And the reality is, guys, that emotion, that energy, that will fade as the year starts. That's why you see everybody in the gym January 1st. There's this magic energy around the new year of, hey, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do that. It feels great, it feels amazing. And then suddenly, you wake up one morning and that motivation is not there, or it's not hitting like it once did, or a week ago, right? And I think that's where a lot of people miss is rather than setting goals out of that motivation, that good energy, you got to just do it out of the discipline, right? Set up the structure, set up the systems, and be prepared. I think preparation is huge. Like I'm setting goals for 2026. I know there's going to be mornings where, maybe the day after a tough workout, I'm fatigued, whatever, maybe my mindset isn't in tune that morning or something threw it off a bit. There's going to be those days where the grain's working against you. You got to be prepared, right? Have a game plan. Like it's not going to feel perfect every day, but that's the idea is it's coming. You've got a plan set up and you're going to get after it regardless of what happens. You're sticking to the plan. And then the other side of it is, I think focus. That was touched on there. I think focus is probably the biggest piece there. We live in this day and age where we have these cell phones that connect us to 1,000 ideas at once, and I personally think they obliterate our ability to focus on single things, on one thing at a time. And I'm a big believer in, the phrase, where your focus goes, your energy flows. I look at it as our energy is like the sun, and then our focus is like the magnifying glass. If we could align that, like we could accomplish anything. It just magnifies it, 10x's our energy if we could focus on just one little thing at once. But the more we let all these other things come in, well, I kind of want to do this, I kind of want to do that, I want to accomplish all these things, we dilute that focus. And now our energy is just not as powerful. And then we don't really amount to much because we're focused on so many things. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we end up losing that power there. So
So good, man. It's like you're 100% right. Like you go out in the sun, you guys are out in Chicago, so you don't know what a sun is right now this time of year. But if you're out here in California and you go out in the sun for about 2 hours, you might get a sunburn after a couple hours, right? But dude, if I put a magnifying glass on your kneecap for about 2 minutes, bro, you're about to have a hole in your knee. Completely different, right? The same sun, but how is it focused? And so, I mean, that's so powerful that, the truth is clarity will beat motivation. And so why you're wanting to do it. So let's just unpack this for everybody that's practically going through this. Melad talked about the reasons and the why. Like that's going to be the thing that's your North Star. Like this is what's going to give you purpose to your pain. And so when pain shows up and like, man, this is suck. I don't want to do this. You don't feel like it. Well, the purpose and the payoff of how it's going to feel in the future when you get to that goal and what that's going to allow you to do for your family, that's greater than the pain, right? Because you've got clarity in why you're doing this. So that's step one for everybody on here. Melad talked about the reasons and the why. Have you written those down? Not just like if we ask you, oh, it's my family. No, 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 no. You got to be specific. Like, what about your family? Like, what does it do? How does it impact your kids? How does it impact your spouse? Like, what difference does it truly make? So you've got some clarity there. Now, once you've done that, like Chris talked about, we want to have a good game plan. We want to have a good strategy. Like, give some specificity to it. If you want to write 400,000 a year, guys, we can reverse engineer this, right, Chris? Like, if somebody's been here, for a month and maybe they've only written 15K, well, you've got the framework to write 60. You know how many, leads you purchased that led to how many presentations and how many presentations led to how many closes. So we could easily build that out. That's super simple, right? Now, if you've done 15K, well, how do you get to 60? We'll do 4x your lead flow. That's it. 4x your activity on the phones. That is it, right? And figure out what's pulling you away from doing that main thing and put some barriers and boundaries around to make sure it doesn't get to you. Like, Chris, for me, a lot of times when I was on the phones dialing, I would delete my social media apps because I just knew I would be tempted to open them up. You see, that's crazy. Well, I just wanted to remove any ability to get pulled and off track because I didn't want to go from a magnifying glass to just this bright sun that's just hitting me. I wanted to be hyper focused because I understood what that meant. So you've got some clarity, right? You've written down, you've reverse engineered it, you got a plan of action. It's clear, it's specific, right? This is what I got to do. What's kind of the next step, Melad, as they're getting going? They've got the reasons, they've got the plan. What should they do next to ensure that they stack the deck to actually execute within the plan?
Yeah, I think you kind of went over it is just reverse engineering, right? What the year looks like, what the next 12 months, breaking it down to the month, to the week, to the day, and the action steps required to achieve those goals every single day, right? So I think, Chris hit on it earlier, just really auditing, yourself once a week and really seeing, hey, am I really putting in the work that I'm supposed to really hit these weekly goals? And if not, where am I going wrong and where can I adjust? Right. So it's really just kind of understanding, hey, where did I lose focus? And oh, maybe I didn't hit a goal 1 or 2 days. And that really, messed up my momentum for these next few days. And really just understanding it's that daily process and that daily grind and having that daily discipline, knowing that, hey, if I put the inputs in every single day, overall the outcome will be there. Because a lot of days, hey, you won't get those goals, but a lot of days you're going to smash those goals, right? And it'll make up for those goals, those days you didn't hit, those original ones. So really just, having those weekly, monthly audits, understanding why, your goals are as big as they are, and making sure your work ethic is aligning to those actions and to those goals.
I love that. I mean, one thing that I think anybody on here that could apply what Malad's talking about is at the end of the day, asking yourself, would I have promoted myself or would I have fired myself based off my execution and the plan that was put before me? Because this business, self-employed, you're the employer and the employee. The employer does what we're talking about. You're looking at the end of the year, you're saying, what did I mess up last year? Where did I spend too much time? Where did I not spend enough time? Or, what were some important conversations with people that actually built me up? What were some wasted time conversations? What were some things that really kind of brought, energy to me? What were things that depleted the energy from me? Like you build awareness. That's the employer. And then the employer plans and strategizes and says, okay, this is the goal. This is the game plan, and numbers don't lie. This is exactly where we'll land if you execute. Now, the employee, they got to go execute. The employee part is like, you've got the plan. Now your job is just to show up. Just go work, go execute. And then at the end of the day, the question is, would I've got a promotion or would I've gotten fired? And the reality is, if you continue to say I would have got a promotion, you're going to start to see results show up through a process of just time. But if you keep saying, man, I got distracted. I said I was gonna make 4 hours of phone calls, but I didn't. I said I was gonna send out some DMs while I was on the phone, calling and doing presentations with my second phone because you got two phones, which you should have two phones. I was gonna DM people while I was, my other phone was calling through Wayber, but I didn't. Okay, well, if I was gonna pay you $800,000 to execute in that those activities from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and you didn't do it and you got fired, would you have stuck to it then? I think most people, oh, dude, 100%. Well, you're not trusting the fact that the process will lead to that because that's what your outcome is going to be because numbers don't lie. And so I just think really that's a great question to execute or to play out, Milad, what you're talking about to really kind of give you that daily kind of interrogating of your reality and being able to course correct before the end of the year gets upon you and you're like, oh my God, how did I get here? Well, you just should have done some pauses each night and asked yourself, how well were you executing? And then making adjustments and what have you as the year goes on. You won't know to make those unless you're taking some time to reflect and look at your business and work on your business, not just in your business, right? And so I love that. Chris, what about for you? What are some things that somebody can do? They've got some goals, they've got a strategy, but they need to stack the deck to hit it. Like, is it, what are some things that like can they go into an office space to kind of help ensure that they do the thing they know they need to do? Do they hop on disc? Like what are some things that you think would help create accountability and really set themselves up for them to execute in the plan that they've now got?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest pieces is what you and Melad were touching on there is just that daily reflection. And I think a big piece of that is that transparency, right? Because I think a lot of people do that, but again, they soften the edges, right? If you look at somebody, let's say that's on a fitness plan and has a caloric intake, and it's like, well, I only ate twice today. Oh, and then they snacked in between, but you're not counting that as a meal. Well, yeah, it was a couple chips or there was this and that. It's the same idea with this, right? It's you look at your inputs, it's not did you kind of hit it? Did you kind of do this? Like you have to be super transparent with yourself because at the end of the day, it comes back to that looking in the mirror and you got to shine the light on everything to find your weak spots, right? So transparency and then at the end of the day, you guys, it comes down to, for me at least, is being brutally honest of I'm either going to change my goals or I'm going to change my commitments if I'm not reaching those goals, right? So I look at my daily commitments associated with me hitting that goal. If I want to do President's Club this year, I know I'm going to be writing 35K plus right around that range a month. I know that comes out to the 10K weeks with, maybe one falling off, that kind of stuff. And I know daily that means I need to talk to this many people and I'm going to inevitably close this many and I'm going to hit my goal. And so I'm either doing that and that's great, or I need to adjust my commitments to get to that goal. And if I'm not willing to adjust those commitments, I got to change my goal. I got to take it off the table. It feels good to think about President's Club, but if my activity is not aligning with that, I got to be honest with myself. Hey, Chris, you know what? You're not putting it in. Maybe 300K this year. Maybe 200K. And I think that creates a fear of loss, at least it does within myself, where it's like, hey, brutally honest, I'm either doing it, I'm either becoming that person I'm aspiring to be that's going to reap the rewards of that life, or I'm just not. And then I think stacking the deck, you use that phrase. What I've found with myself, and I see it a lot with a lot of the agents and colleagues that I mentor, is we think that one day we'll just become this machine. Like tomorrow, I'm just going to become the most dialed, disciplined person on the face of this earth. And the reality is, guys, it takes time. And what I see is the ones that are the most dialed, the individuals ahead of me, guys like you, Paul, guys that I'm aspiring to be. You guys, you stack the deck, you work smarter, you put things in your favor, and you set yourself up for success. And I think one of my favorite ways to do that is you have to learn to tie gratification to your inputs, right? Sales cure all, of course, but if we're just riding the outcomes and that's the only time we get that chemical release, that dopamine fix is when we close a deal, well, it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be a rough ride. And what I found is the sooner you can start tying those daily gratifications to, hey, I did my 400 dials today. Hey, I talked to the 10 people today. And if you can do that at the end of your day and feel good and actually be like, wow, I feel accomplished. I hit my inputs today. And I know that if I consistently do these every single day, I'm going to reach that goal. I think that is what carries a lot of people to the promised land because you're still getting that emotional tie to it, that energy fix as if the outcomes are already hitting. But it's really, I'm so dialed on these inputs. I know the outcomes will eventually line up with it.
Man, that is so good. For everybody on here, I would just go back and rewatch what Chris just talked about. That's how good that was because this is the ticket. This is how you set yourself up. Is Chris like too many people are focused on like once I get here, then I'll feel happy, then I'll feel fulfilled, then I'll feel joy. And the truth is, no, you won't because once you get there, there now becomes here. So then you got another level and then you're chasing there. So you go through without any dopamine, without any fulfillment. And so you might be achieving things, but you're depleted, right? Or you don't achieve things because you're depleted. So you get so discouraged that you stop stepping towards the promised land, so to speak, the next level when you're so close to getting there because you're just so focused on the results not here, the results not here. I love that. What I would do, Chris, is for me that helped me out getting going with in this business was I wanted my self-esteem to be tied to my activity habits, my activity goals, not my result goal. So if I knew that my activity goal was to make 500 phone calls today, if I did that, regardless of the result, I was excited about the fact that I did it, right? If my activity goal was to go work out for 45 minutes, well, even if I lifted my shirt up that night and the six pack still didn't show up, I was like, I did my 45 minutes, man. I did my 10 minutes of core. Like I did what I needed to do, and that's where you don't get so depleted moving towards and doing the thing that you need to do, but progress hasn't shown up yet because I believe in the gap between doing the thing that you should be doing that's going to take you to the next level, to take you to your goal. The gap between seeing the result and moving, that's where disappointment is bred. Where you're like, man, I'm doing what I need to do, but I don't see the result yet. Well, don't get weary in doing well. Continue to move forward. Continue to do that thing. And so just that little shift of saying, I'm making a decision that I'm going to be excited. I'm going to feel gratified if I hit my activity goal, not the result. That also pushes away compromise. Because Chris, for me, and I don't know, Melad, if you've had this happen, but when I know I'm focused on the result, or how I know I'm focused on the result is when the result's not good, right? It's not as good as I expected. Maybe I thought if I made 500 phone calls based on my numbers, that should lead to three sales, but it led to zero. Well, then the next day, if I like show up late, invest less in leads, get more distracted, decide to kind of like not be as intentional. My expectations kind of low, like heck, I'm probably gonna get the same thing. My expectation of the client's low. Well, then that's a telltale sign that I was focused on the result, not my activity, because compromise showed up when it wasn't good. Or it's happened on the other side. You go out and you believe, man, if I make 500 phone calls, I should close 3 deals, but you close six. Well, how do I know if I was focused on the result, not focused on me just doing the thing, the activity goals? Was the next day I show up late, I do the same thing, I compromise because heck, I wrote six. I don't even need to make 500 phone. Maybe I need to make 250. No, no, no. You need to make 500, dude. You're looking at the result. You need to focus on the activity. And so to me, that always is a great sign for anybody watching of like really saying, am I focused on the result or am I focused on the activity? You know, that's so powerful. And then also living from the state of gratitude and appreciation that you're almost forecasting the result being hit and the type of person you're going to be to hit that goal, that you're almost being pulled in gratitude in this higher level emotion to this compelling future because you're so focused on it as if it's already happened that you're excited about and feeling grateful in this present moment, opposed to fear, anxiety, and stress and being overwhelmed because maybe that's an emotion you've lived with from the past. And then you continue to operate today in that emotion and get the same result that continues to validate it. Such a big, big deal. For you, Melad, one thing I want to really unpack as you wrap up is I think most people have they've got goals, they've got, maybe a plan on how to get there, but they don't realize that there's also these who goals. Like, who do you need to become? What character, what identity do you need to have to go out there and be the type of person to hit those goals? For you, have you seen that play a big part in your evolution in this business where maybe you got on board and you kind of you saw yourself in one way, you saw your character or disciplines or habits in one way, but then you started to shift and take on this new identity of the type of person that could run a business like you're running? Because you guys are doing how much volume currently right now, each month in issue paid?
We're hovering around 1.5.
So 1.5 million, right? When you weren't doing the 1.5 million, was there times where was there a shift in your identity that you believe was foundational for you to go out there and build the business to the 1.5 million that you're sitting in today?
Yeah, I mean, I think we realized that, it was going to happen at some point, right? It was inevitable, right? And really just having those daily affirmations and visualizations that, hey, these things are going to take in place. And, you know, I just have to follow the daily action steps every single day. And these outcomes will be there, right? And understanding that, hey, the focus has to be there, the discipline, and most importantly, the daily grind and, following those daily commitments that accumulates, right? And that compounds over time. And we know that, our goal is there and it's going to be hit. Just making sure that that focus isn't lost. And, we're sticking to those commitments and staying true to who we really are and, our daily habits.
I love that. So your affirmations, give us some of them. Like as you guys were stepping towards and saying, "Hey, we want to grow this business. We got big goals. We're gonna do something massive. We're gonna create great impact." What were some of the affirmations that you had? What are some of the affirmations you've got today? Give us your top five or what have you.
Yeah, so when I initially got in this business, right, my main thing is, hey, I'm hitting President's Club this year, right? So my focus, I knew what I was capable of. We knew, we both came from sales. We both came from door to door in the past. So we knew we had a skill set that could transfer over here, and that all aligned. And then from there, hey, our goals, our targets got larger. From there, hey, our goals were, to get to $1 million a month as a team. And in order to do that, we have to find our leaders, right? So let's get X amount of leaders on board and get them to doing, helping X amount of families every single month. And really, I think that the biggest thing is just helping those core crew guys getting to hit their goals. And if we could get, the people around us to, just having such a big impact in their lives and developing their businesses, we're going to get to the ultimate goal of where we're trying to go.
I love that. For you guys, so Milad, what is your goal in 2026? Like what in December of 2026, what is your team issue paying?
our team's issue paying $5 million monthly at that point. So
Let's go. All right. So I love that. And by the way, I'm glad you said that. I was hoping you said 5 million or at least because if you would have said like 2.5, I'd have been, I would have had to delete the podcast and get other people on. But like that's where you guys should absolutely be is 5 million a month. Your guys' talent, ability, your heart to serve people, your discipline, like all the things you got. There's no question that you could be doing 5 million a month. Your team, your leadership bench, your leadership team you've already got. Like, I mean, I've been on multiple calls with them. Dude, they are driven, they're focused, they understand their why, they're moving, and there's no question they're going to make a big, big difference. So let me ask you this, Melad. Going from 1.5 million a month to 5 million a month, that's a big jump. Like that's a massive jump. What are some of the things that you believe about yourself that need to develop in order for you to be the type of person that could be running a $5 million a month organization? Like, is it more focus? More passion? Like what would be some characteristics that you believe you need to develop in order to be the type of, leader that's running a $5 million a month organization?
I think tightening up the overall the daily structure, the trainings and ultimately just getting out of the comfort level and reaching out to all sorts of individuals and making sure that hey we have a daily goal of X amount of people we're reaching out to and people we're sitting with, we're interviewing and um, yeah, I mean the biggest thing is just making sure the contacts are going up, right? We um, are hitting those daily goals, the weekly, monthly, and making sure, hey, we're finding those guys, we're finding the organizations that are trying to level up. They're trying to because there's a lot of people out there, right? There's a lot of people, teams out there, and all sorts of industries that are looking for a sustainable long term play and just finding those people. So really getting outside of the comfort level and um, making sure we're able to target those people and show them what's out there and what the insurance world has to offer.
I love that. So good. Chris, for you, as you wrap up, man, what are some of the things like characteristics, qualities, thought processes like that you believe you'll need to have to go from 1.5 to 5 million? Like where do you need to develop to go from 1.5 to 5 million, you believe?
I think the biggest thing is going to come down to focus. At the end of the day, to get to 1.5 million requires a lot of grit, a lot of work ethic, and a lot of the foundation has been laid. We've got more leaders. That was a big focus in 2025. One of our big goals was to develop as many leaders and help our people develop outside of just being good at a sales job and to become entrepreneurs and really embody that. And I mean, humbled and it's just my favorite part of the business is seeing these people come in and actually level up, right? Get better in all aspects of life. So at this point, we have such a strong foundation. And I think for us, a big piece is going to be where's our focus? What are the money making activities, right? Every level you want to get to, there's different activity that you have to have different inputs. And I think for us, it's really just tweaking. Hey, let's spend more time bringing bodies in. We've got the systems. We've got more proof of concept than we've ever have. From here, I think that's kind of where we've been bottlenecking. Is we just need more people to experience this, right? We got to share this with more people. We have the best opportunity in the space, bar none, and we just got to scream it from the mountaintops and share it with the world.
I love that. All right. So for everybody on here, you know, this is a question you ask yourself. December 29th, hopefully you're going to pause after this podcast and spend some time going through your why, your reasons, putting together a strategized reverse engineering this. But the very last part of this is like what type of person do you need to be to hit the goals that you want to hit? Like, what does that person look like? Like, where do they need to develop? Because the truth is, like for me, Chris, I know that if I want to go out there and I want to make a massive impact, if I want to have 100 people in the organization that I'm working with that are all making 7 figures, that's going to take a different version of me. Like I'm going to need to develop in a certain way to get there. I think too often people know what they need to do, they know why they need to do it, but they don't know who they need to become. Because if you know who you are, you'll know what to do. So if you're the type of person that is really disciplined, then you're not going to be pulled when temptation shows up or that pressure to go do what's pleasurable comes in. You're going to say, "No, I'm a disciplined person. I stay focused." And so a couple affirmations that would be great for you guys as I'm listening to you as you go into the new year is like I'm a person that gets uncomfortable. I'm intentional. I focus on the main thing. I'm the person that attracts high level leaders. I'm a leader that develops leaders. Like that would be an affirmation that you would start to speak to yourself that helps bring out the type of person that could be running a $5 million organization. And for everybody on here, that might be different for you. You might say, "Man, I'm just a person that just I say one thing and I don't do it." Right. And I just feel like I keep saying stuff and I don't come through. Well, maybe for you, your affirmation is I execute. I'm a person of integrity. My confidence is built from saying things and doing those things. I'm an executor. If I say it, it's done. Right. That would be your affirmation because you're like, man, I need to be that kind of person in order to be able to reach my goal. And so what does that type of person do? That's the type of person when they say they're going to wake up at 5 a.m., they actually get up at 5 a.m. And so you start to understand, like, if that is me, what do I do? And then you'll actually know what to do because you know who you are. Identity always comes before behavior. And so I would just encourage everybody on here today is yes, put together your goals, what you want to accomplish, but also put together your who goals. Who are you? Who's that person that's at that next level? Who do they need to become? And then start to speak that, start to visualize yourself doing those behaviors in advance before you do it and attract gratitude from that before it actually happens. If you can call the emotion of gratitude and abundance before it takes place, you're more likely to have it take place, right? And so as we wrap up, guys, I mean, unbelievable call. I got, a ton of notes from what you guys are talking about. Any wrapping up, statements or anything that you would be telling a brand new agent that's just getting started that says, man, this is new. It's 2026. I really want this to be the breakthrough. I feel like I finally got a shot at changing my life. Like, what would be the message you tell that brand new person that really just has all the hope in the world, but is just getting started?
I'd say, yeah, you're right. You absolutely do. You have all of that at your fingertips. And the simple way to unlock it is just disconnect and put the work in, right? So, like we just talked about, look at all the outcomes you're chasing. You're going after all those goals. Set up the commitments, the blueprint, the plan, and then stick to those non-negotiables. I'm going to do this every single day, and just watch yourself level up. Watch the skill set show up. Watch your life change forever.
I love that. What about you, Melad? What would be the parting message you tell that brand new person?
I'd say you're in full control, right? You're the captain of the ship. You decide how you want to take or where you want to take this business. So making sure you control what you're able to control and put in the daily work. Stick to your commitments, and you'll go where you want to be.
I love that. Wait, you guys ask for it every week. I get people reaching out saying, "Hey, I want some people on that are going to make a massive difference." There's no question that Chris and Melad, you guys did that today. I'm very grateful for you and to consider you guys and call you guys business partners. I do believe that when you lock arms with the right people, with the right character, the right calling, man, you can create such an impact. And I just believe 2026. Pinnacle is going to absolutely explode. There's going to be so many testimonies, so many success stories, and I believe there's going to be a lot of those that take place in your guys' organization because of your leadership. So I appreciate you guys. If you haven't already subscribed or liked or shared this video, then I'm just going to tell you how it is because it's the end of the year and I feel like you just need honesty. Like you're selfish. Like share this. This is gonna impact somebody. Maybe there's an agent on your team or somebody that you know, because obviously this translates across any industry. That maybe this one podcast can give them the right framework to go out there and make 2026 the transformational year that they want it to be. So, guys, I appreciate you, Chris. Melad, thank you so much again for joining today. Guys, let's make it a massive week. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you in 2026. God bless you guys.
Appreciate you guys.